Have you ever noticed that the strongest people are not the loudest, not the ones who fight back with anger or words, but the ones who quietly endure, trusting that Allah sees what no one else does? Patience is not weakness. It is power, the kind of power that comes from surrender, from faith, and from knowing that nothing escapes the wisdom of the one who controls all things. Patience is often seen as stillness, as if it means doing nothing. But in truth, patience is one of the most powerful actions a person can take. It is the decision to remain calm when the world demands a reaction. It is the strength to restrain anger, fear, or despair when your heart feels like breaking. Patience is not weakness. It is the deliberate choice to stay rooted in faith when everything in you wants to run or fight. True patience is not about suppressing emotion. It is about channeling it with wisdom. When someone wrongs you, patience keeps you from responding with bitterness. When life delays what you desire, patience prevents you from losing hope. It teaches you to pause, to breathe, and to remind yourself that Allah has already written the outcome. You learn to stop fighting the tide and instead trust the one who controls the waves. There is a quiet kind of courage in patience. The courage of the one who keeps praying even when nothing changes, the one who keeps believing even when every door seems closed. Such patience is not passive. It is active resistance against despair. It takes more strength to hold your tongue than to shout, more power to forgive than to retaliate, and more faith to wait than to give up. That restraint, that calm, is a reflection of inner power and deep spiritual maturity. Patience also refines the soul. It burns away arrogance, entitlement, and haste. It replaces the question, why me, with, what is Allah teaching me? Every test becomes a lesson. Every delay a reminder of who truly controls time. Through patience, you begin to see how every hardship has a hidden mercy. Every disappointment carries wisdom, and every closed door protects you from what was never meant for you. The beauty of patience is that it draws you closer to Allah. When you choose patience, you are not surrendering to circumstance. You are surrendering to His plan. You realize that your silence, your calm, your trust, all speak louder than words. And in that surrender, you discover a power far greater than control. The peace that comes from knowing that everything unfolding around you is already known, already planned, and already perfect in His wisdom. When something you deeply want is delayed, the heart often feels restless. You begin to wonder why your prayers are not being answered, why the doors remain closed, and why everything seems to take so long. But what you cannot see in those moments is that Allah's delay is never neglect. It is preparation. He is aligning every detail, shaping every circumstance, and refining your heart so that when the blessing arrives, you are truly ready to receive it. There are times when you might beg for something, believing it is the best for you, yet Allah holds it back because He knows the unseen. Perhaps what you desire would have harmed you, or come too soon, or distracted you from something greater. The delay then becomes mercy in disguise. It is Allah saying, "Wait, my servant. There is something better, or a better time." Those who trust this divine timing live with peace, knowing that Allah never withholds except to give in a more perfect way. Patience in waiting is not easy. It stretches the heart and tests faith. But through it, you learn to detach from outcomes and attach yourself to the one who controls them. You stop measuring life by how quickly things happen and start measuring it by how deeply you trust. You begin to see that the wait itself is a sacred process, one that shapes your character, strengthens your reliance, and draws you closer to your Creator. Every delay carries a hidden wisdom. Sometimes, Allah delays not because you are unworthy of what you asked for, but because He wants you to find Him in the waiting. He wants you to raise your hands in dua, not just for what you seek, but for the peace that comes from knowing Him. The delay becomes a doorway to deeper faith, a space where your heart learns that what is meant for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. So the next time you find yourself waiting, remember, it is not wasted time. It is divine timing unfolding with precision and purpose. The same Lord who split the sea for Musa, who brought Yusuf out of the well, and who answered the dua of Zechariah in old age. He has not forgotten you. Your delay is not denial. It is a sign that Allah is preparing something worth the patience it takes to receive. When life flows smoothly, we often mistake comfort for strength. We think we are patient, humble, and faithful until a storm comes. It is only when everything begins to fall apart that we truly see ourselves. Patience becomes the mirror that shows who we really are beneath the layers of ease. In hardship, the masks fall away and the soul speaks honestly. The moments that break us also reveal the depth of our faith, showing us whether our trust in Allah was just words or something deeply rooted in the heart. Trials have a way of pulling out qualities we never knew existed within us. They awaken a strength that comfort keeps hidden. You begin to realize that the pain you feared is actually shaping you, polishing you, and softening the parts of your heart that had grown hard. Through patience, you start to recognize your own resilience, the quiet power to keep breathing, keep believing, and keep walking even when the road disappears beneath your feet. This discovery doesn't come from books or lectures. It comes from living through the test itself. In those silent moments of struggle, when no one understands your pain but Allah, patience becomes your companion. It whispers to you that it's okay to cry, but not to give up. It teaches you that faith doesn't mean being untouched by hardship. It means finding peace within it. You learn that the heart's true strength is not measured by how loudly it fights, but by how gently it surrenders. You begin to see that patience is not about enduring the storm. It's about learning to find stillness within it. Every trial, no matter how painful, carries a divine purpose. Sometimes, Allah allows certain hardships to remove arrogance, to humble us, or to remind us of our dependence on Him. Other times, He sends difficulty as a way to elevate us, to wash away our sins, or to draw us back to His mercy. When you begin to view your struggles through the lens of patience, you stop seeing them as punishments and start recognizing them as lessons in disguise. You understand that the hardest moments are the ones that refine your soul the most. And in the end, patience doesn't just reveal who you are. It transforms who you are. You come out softer, wiser, and more aware of Allah's presence in every detail of your life. The pain that once felt unbearable becomes a source of quiet gratitude because it taught you faith that comfort never could. Through patience, you don't just survive the storm, you emerge from it closer to Allah, stronger within yourself, and more at peace with the story He is writing for you. Pain is one of the most powerful teachers in life. It strips away illusions, pride, and attachments, leaving only the essence of who we truly are. When you go through hardship and choose patience, that pain becomes a tool of transformation. It cleanses you from within, softening your heart and reminding you of your need for Allah. Every hardship, no matter how heavy, carries within it the potential to purify your soul and draw you closer to the one who sent it. When life hurts, the first instinct is to escape, to numb the pain, to distract yourself, or to question why it's happening. But when you pause and surrender, when you whisper, "Why Allah?" instead of "Why me?" that pain begins to purify rather than destroy. It humbles the ego, silences the complaints, and reminds the heart of its ultimate purpose. You start to see that patience is not about suppressing the pain, but about letting it refine you without losing faith in the process. Every tear that falls in patience is seen by Allah. Each silent cry, each moment you choose to hold on instead of giving up, becomes a form of worship. Your pain becomes a conversation between you and your Creator, a secret exchange where every sigh is recorded and every struggle is rewarded. In those moments of quiet endurance, Allah is washing your heart of burdens you didn't even know you carried. What feels like breaking is often cleansing. What feels like loss is often renewal. Through patience, pain turns from punishment to purification. You begin to realize that Allah never wastes your suffering. He uses it to polish your heart, to detach you from what is temporary, and to prepare you for what is eternal. The more you endure with faith, the more your soul begins to shine with clarity and peace. It's through your wounds that light enters, and through your struggles that strength is born. And when you finally emerge from that hardship, you don't just come out healed, you come out transformed. You see life differently, love differently, and pray differently. The pain that once made you fall to your knees now reminds you of how close you came to Allah. You understand that patience didn't just help you survive the pain, it purified your heart and made it a vessel strong enough to hold His peace. When you raise your hands in dua, something sacred happens. You connect your heart to the one who never turns away. In that moment, you are seen, heard, and loved by Allah. Yet sometimes, after you pour your heart out, silence follows. You wait, and nothing seems to change. It's in that silence where patience is born. It teaches you that just because Allah is quiet, it doesn't mean He is absent. The response is already written, but it's hidden within His perfect timing. The space between dua and destiny is where your heart is tested the most. It's easy to have faith when the answer comes quickly, but true faith is proven in the waiting. Patience becomes your anchor, holding you steady while everything else feels uncertain. Every moment you choose to keep praying, even when there's no sign of change, is a testimony of your trust in Allah's wisdom. You start to understand that the delay is not a denial. It's a process designed to strengthen your soul before the blessing arrives. Sometimes Allah withholds what you ask for to give you what you need. The waiting period may soften your heart, purify your intentions, or draw you closer to Him in ways you never expected. You learn that dua is not only about receiving, it's about transforming. Each time you make that same prayer, your words may remain the same, but your heart grows wiser, humbler, and more surrendered. Patience becomes the bridge that carries you from wanting something to being ready for it. Every believer has moments where they question the timing, wondering why others seem to move forward while they remain in place. But patience teaches you that your journey has its own divine rhythm. Allah's timing is never random. He delays some things because He is aligning everything perfectly for you. The longer the wait, the more beautiful the arrival. And when it finally happens, you'll look back and realize why it couldn't have come any sooner or any differently. When your heart finally reaches the day it whispers, Subhanallah, this is what I was waiting for. Every tear, every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer will make sense. You'll see that Allah was never silent. He was writing your story with mercy. The dua you made in desperation will meet the destiny written with love. And in that moment, you'll understand that patience was never just about waiting. It was about believing that Allah's plan was always unfolding in your favor, even when you couldn't see it. Patience is one of those virtues whose true reward cannot be measured by anything in this world. Every moment you hold back a complaint, every tear you wipe away in silence, every time you choose to trust instead of despair, Allah is recording it all. Nothing you endure is forgotten. The world may never notice the battles you fight quietly, but the one who created your heart sees every struggle. And he promises that the reward of the patient will be given without measure. A reward so vast that only the hereafter can contain it. In this life, patience may look like loss. You may lose opportunities, people, or moments because you chose to stay calm, to forgive, or to trust Allah's decree. But in reality, you are not losing anything. You are trading temporary comfort for eternal peace. Each act of patience plants a seed in the gardens of paradise, a seed that will bloom into something far greater than what you endured. When the day of judgment comes, those who practice patience will see mountains of reward rising before them, and every hardship they bore with faith will turn into light. Patience also beautifies the heart in ways that no worldly reward can. It fills the soul with peace, softens anger, and gives you an unshakable strength that the world cannot break. When you learn to be patient, you no longer depend on people for validation or outcomes for happiness. You find contentment in knowing that Allah is enough. That inner peace, that calm surrender, is itself a part of the reward, an early taste of the eternal tranquility that awaits in Jannah. Even in the moments when patience feels unbearable, know that those are the times when your rank is being elevated. Allah tests those He loves not to break them, but to build them into something more beautiful. Each hardship faced with patience writes a new chapter of mercy in your story. The greater the struggle, the greater the reward. And when you finally meet Allah, you will realize that not a single second of your endurance went unnoticed. So when the weight of waiting becomes heavy, remind your heart that this life is temporary, but the reward is eternal. Every pain, every delay, and every moment of silent faith is an investment in forever. One day, you will stand before your Lord and see how every hardship was turned into endless mercy. And in that moment, all the waiting, all the tears, all the patience will finally make sense. Because what Allah gives in return is far greater than what this world could ever offer. So, the next time life tests you, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is Allah teaching me? Because patience is not just the ability to wait. It is the art of trusting Allah in the waiting. And that trust is the ultimate power.